Okay, so unfortunately the video timed out. So, but I'm just going to continue. I think I remember where we ended off. So as I was saying, um, he can turn your truth into his lie and his lie into your truth. And this is something you've got to be very careful of, because if you don't know that, if you do not read the Word of God, this will be oblivious to you, because only the Word shines light on such things, because it portrays it, and reveals it, basically the strategy and the component of attack. Okay, and then he said, and when okay, for God doth know that in the day that he eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and he shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. Now, a very important factor on that is the eyes were opened. They could see, but they were not looking with their natural eyes. They were actually looking with their spiritual eyes. But what eyes would be open would be their natural eyes. So, when their natural eyes, this is what we are operating in. We're operating in our natural eyes. But we also have the gift, which is the spiritual eyes, where we see things that, you cannot see with the normal eyes. So, for instance, you might see somebody as kind, right? Somebody is being kind towards another, but then the Holy Spirit will come and give you a discernment and say there's something not feeling, there's something not right about this person. And most often we find that we will then see that this person is actually not kind. This person is giving this. Let's say a random person gives someone. You see somebody give money on the street, right? Um, Now you can also do the same and give money to that person on the street, but in the long term, with our natural eyes, we see the present and we see, oh, that's a very good thing to do. But the long term of it is that person will keep coming to that spot, knowing that they are going to get, like they're going to get money or they're going to get some kind of reward, um, and then it discourages them to try and better themselves or to try and seek alternative means rather than just begging for money. Because we, as especially people that are on the streets, these are brilliant people. They're not dumb. They are on the streets, yes, and they've hit a bad rut, but they are kings and queens on the streets, princes on the streets that have such potential that they could change the entire environment, but they don't know it. And so God reveals through His Word what level of potential we all have, and that the battle is not given to. From the top. Better spot to put this, but bear with me. Okay. I can just see if there's something. Let's try and just put it there. Something. Push the camera back. Okay. That's fine. Okay. So they as I was saying, they're brilliant. The only problem is they don't know it, and so the word reveals to us that we have potentials and brilliancies that, I don't know if brilliancies is a word, but we have potential that can really change our environment, and we don't know it. We don't know it because we think, okay, no, I just need to learn to make a lot of money and then, success. But you can have bad success and you can have good success. People that are living their lives, driving the car of their dreams, they tell you about it. But very interestingly enough, it's not fulfilling them. They're not saying, listen, I don't need Jesus. I am good. What do you call it? I'm living my life. But they keep repeating the life that they're living to other people. If you're living a life of, enjoyment and you have no problems, you won't announce it. You'll be at peace. You'll be like, listen, I'm good. But unfortunately, a life without Jesus, you carry no peace. For only peace, God created peace, and He created evil. Now I'm gonna blow your mind. Now you wonder to yourself, why would God create evil? It's to keep good in check. Good was or is also there to keep evil in check. Hence, where we are at the moment, we don't check evil. We check good, but we don't check evil. And what I mean by that, if somebody comes to you, and let's say your mother or your father is standing next to you, and or your brother even, or your sister, let's be transparent, or your kid brother, okay, or your kid sister. I'm sorry, I'm trying to be as transparent as possible. Um, if somebody comes just randomly and smacks them, are you gonna say like, oh, hey, peace be to you? No, evil will come, and evil will say, um, your child or your or your brother or your family just got um, provoked or insulted, or not insulted, but attacked, and evil was came upon them. Then the good that God has, the evil, which is how evil was supposed to be used according to the way the Bible is set up, to correct someone that is doing the wrong. That's what evil is the purpose. This at the moment is just my own opinion. That is what I've received from the word, which where evil is just not corrected. So if somebody does something corrupt, somebody does, there's always applause. There's always someone that will say, no, that person was not harmed. They provoked it. They, you know, and yes, there might be some truth to it. However, if you look at the real, just the basic scope of it, you will not just allow that to happen. And so, you will then correct it by inciting, you will respond to that person. And you will defend. And you will even defend if it's your family or your love or whatever. You will defend to the death. And this is instilled as this. This is why it may be that evil was created. It is to keep good in correct. It's to make sure that good understands that if you go out of line, here comes evil to put you back. Or if evil goes out of line, here comes good to put you back. And it might sound, um, maybe it's not too confusing. I think there's a basic understanding to it. And then people will say things like, but how could God allow so many thousands of people to die? He didn't. We did. We did. If if God had to take our place and we had to take His place of dealing with the things that He's dealing with, I mean, he can say, okay, but now why didn't you make sure that everybody in the world is still breathing? Why didn't you keep the foundation of the earth from crumbling? Why didn't you make sure that the farmers still got their rain in order for the crops to come through? Why didn't you make sure that the meteor that was heading towards the atmosphere was diverted? I can take your spot, and I can deal with the thousands of people that was oppressed and killed and suffering and all that. God can do that. But if we had to take His duties and we had to exchange it for ours, we would see how minute our duties was, and how unbelievably massive God's duties is. Because even though He knows, I mean, no one hears of the evil before God. He hears it up first. If anything is happening, He knows about it. And then we wonder now, why doesn't He intervene? Why don't we? Or those who can. It is because there is a misconception and a misunderstanding, thinking that who did not create ourselves, and we would not treat any king on this earth in the manner that we treat God. By saying, "Hey king, why don't you deal with these peasant problems? He's a king." If he had to come and deal with the problems, then he just won't. Because he's king, he's in royalty, he's got guys that deal with the problem. Even in the Bible, God put this in place. If you read when he was going to promote Saul to be king through Samuel, God put it in place to say, "Samuel, tell them this is the type of king that you guys are going to have." And up until this day, that's how the kings are. Obviously, it's more sophisticated or modern, if you will. Not that the Bible's not modern, but the Bible is very modern, and brilliantly so. The very way that kings are handle themselves is the way that God set it up. So that conversation of why did God allow this? We got to look at ourselves. For even if you had to look at your son, and whenever your son was bullied, you fought the bully off. When will your son learn to defend himself or to stand up for himself? He won't, because he will know, hey, I don't need to defend myself. And then he finds himself in a situation where he's not there, you're not there, and he gets crushed, and he gets defeated. So at that moment, it was not, God was dealing with things we can't even comprehend. But He left the righteous thing to do. He left the justified. Even if we did nothing, we could have prayed. We could have prayed to God to say, "Listen, give us the strength, give us the means, give us the ability." These were not choices that God made to happen. These were unfortunately choices that man made. And their choices messed up. And because of that, long story short, it resulted in a lot of people's death and so on. That's just my point of view. So that's why you can't really throw the blame on God, because we don't know the full picture. There's an enemy that you are fighting that literally is the reason why the things were happening the way they were happening, because God was not in it. If God was in it, there would have been sympathy, there would have been a sense of mercy, there would have been a sense of, but with us, and with the wickedness of the enemy, no. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that. But it gets deep, it really does. And the more you partake in the Word, the more you'll start to understand that, there are things that you might blame God for, that God gave you the power to deal with. And He has to give you sort of, He has to kind of sometimes let us go through the way we need to go through the thing, because it brings up a substance, an oil out of us that will better us in a place that we will say, it was good that I was afflicted. And that's, yeah. Okay. Not to go too far off the point, but sometimes, when you get into the Word, then there's a flow that kind of happens, and you might flow somewhere else, or you might stay on track, but ultimately the point is to flow with God. Praise the precious name of Jesus. Okay, so anyway, and he said, when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, listen to this, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, the lust of the eyes, and the tree to be desired, the lust of the flesh, a tree to be desired to make one wise, the pride of life, and then so good for food, which is lust of the flesh, sorry, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, which is the lust of the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, that is the pride of life. She took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. So the enemy did not compel them in a way that was forceful. All he did was he put it in front of them and said, hey, you're not allowed to eat of this. And she herself made the decision. And by making this decision of their own volition, you can't blame him. He may have told them something that they don't fully comprehend. When he said that you won't die, he was talking about you won't die in the spirit, but you will die in the carnal. You see, he was talking about a different level of truth, and that they could not comprehend. Because we do die. But we don't die immediately. We grow old, which we were not supposed to, but we grow old and then we die. Pass away from natural causes, or we die from, circumstances or accident or whatever. And that's what happened. So now, when you look back at it, you can't really say that you can blame the serpent. You can't blame him. All that he said was, he asked a question, and then told them a truth that they could not comprehend. And this is what the enemy does. He will tell you a truth that you cannot comprehend. So he will say to you, he will even encourage you. He will put the task that comes before you. Now the enemy knows, if I put a challenge in front of you, if you fail at it, you're going to be destroyed dismally. It's going to take a big chunk of you. But he also knows the risk that if you succeed and you conquer this challenge, you're going to become stronger, and it's going to be more difficult to get you next time. And this can be sometimes why God allows it. So you go through, let's say, a breakup, and you really love this person, but God knew that this person in the long run was not good for you, because they were not fight with you, they were flight when the circumstances. So he didn't still take you through that time, so you didn't marry this person. And sometimes, because of our own stubbornness, we will marry the person, because we think, no, he's the one, she's the one, she's beautiful, she's fine, she's nice. And then when it comes to marriage, things change, and it becomes a whole different person. And this is why, and this is sometimes a thing that is so scary, because although husband and man and woman are meant to get married, okay, I'm saying man and woman because this is what I believe. Okay, um, because there's only male and female in this world. Sorry, that's it. Um, so um, um, when you go according to this and you say, listen, um, you they are meant to be together. Now, when the serpent approached Eve, he approached her alone. Adam wasn't close by, because otherwise Adam would have also responded and say, no, no, he said, we shall surely die, not lest we die, lest he die. But he wasn't. Now, this is sometimes what the enemy also does. He isolates you. When God isolates you, it's meant for, like a cocoon, and meant for your blossoming, meant for you to make mistakes and all that kind of stuff. And then when you come out, things, the mistakes is rectified. But when the enemy isolates you, it's to isolate you so that I can do my thing, so that I can manipulate you on a level that you cannot comprehend. If you had, for instance, a partner, like a husband or wife, then that wife may be connected with God and may have received the answer of what the enemy is doing and then prayed for you. And this is a powerful thing, because we don't often pray